Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome to another episode of my Out of the Park 21 playthrough with the Cubs. Just finished spring training of the 21 season, and we're about to kick it off. We're at opening day. So, if you haven't been paying attention or watching my series so far, this team is in rebuild mode. I don't know how you could take this team on and not be forced to go this route. That's one of the reasons I took them on. I thought that was the challenge with the Cubs is you've got some aging veterans, especially the way Out of the Park Baseball does the ratings and progressions. I think it was obvious to me anyway that you got some superstar players who are going to start doing a nosedive, and that's where we're at with this team. We didn't look too bad in spring training, but last year we're coming off a season where we only won 71 games, so 71 and 91. I don't know if we can match that. We've got an owner who still expects us to. I'm pretty sure, the last I checked, he's expecting us to reach the playoffs this season. I don't know how we're going to do that. He wanted me to sign Anthony Rizzo. That is something I did take care of last episode. So the dilemma really is with the pitching, and I'll just take a look at that first off. The staff, you got Darvish, who is serviceable, coming off 15 wins. That's not too bad, but we're paying a lot of money for him. The only good thing about that is it's the way they did the contract that was top loaded. So after this season, it's going to go down $3 then $4 million a year, so that'll give us some room. But he's still going to be, I think, quite a bit more expensive than his actual value that he's going to bring to the team. We got Kyle Hendricks kind of in a similar way. He looked great last year, but he was injured for most of the year. But he's signed for another 3 seasons, counting this one, at $14 million. I don't know if he's going to hold on and give me that kind of value through the rest of his contract. And I picked up Eduardo Rodriguez last season on, I thought, a pretty decent trade. I traded away Wilson Contreras. I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say stacked at catcher, but at least, we got 2 guys who could probably start and be serviceable, or at least, your average major league starter at catcher outside of him. So I think he was definitely a good candidate for trading away. And that was a good pickup, I thought, for him. But he's going to be a free agent this year. So depending on how he does, I'm willing to extend his contract because he's still just 27. So he's going to give us, a few more years anyway. But my guess is if he has a decent start, he's probably going to want a long-term contract. So the starting rotation is just really banged up, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to improve it. And then on the bullpen side, I really focused a lot on that in the offseason. That's where I put most of my free agent money. I picked up a Cuban international free agent here in Juan Ibarra, just 27 years old, 4.5-star overall and potential, great fastball. I think it depends on how he looks, but I think he's got a good chance of stepping into that closer role when Kimbrel moves on. And then you got Joe Kelly, who I made a trade for late in the offseason, and he's coming off a great season, 3-star reliever. I felt like, he was kind of maybe just the one more missing piece that I needed after I picked up Ibarra. I also picked up a lefty here in Justin Wilson. So bullpen should be stronger than it was last year, but that starting rotation is going to struggle. Maybe the only positive would be that I've got Rodriguez and Hendricks potentially for a full season this year. Rodriguez only had him for a half year last year after picking him up around the trading deadline. Hendricks missed half of last year on injury. So a full season of them could be, that could make up a difference of a few wins. Might get us close to 500, if nothing else. On the lineup side, this is where the rebuild is going to happen. I mean, you've got some young guys here, and Ian Happ and Horner, who may be able to stay with this team for a while, develop into pretty good, maybe even all-star caliber players, but especially with Hap, I mean, his ratings are pretty good. But the big question is going to be with Rizzo, Baez, Bryant. And I made the decision in the last episode that of those three, I felt like I could only keep one, and I kept Rizzo. He's a captain. He's still 4-star rated. He's got great numbers up top to bottom. Whereas Baez and Bryant, they strike out a lot. I've probably gone on too long about this, but just out of the park baseball, if you played this game for a while, you kind of see the signs when it comes to the player progression and the ratings, and I just see Bryant really taking a dive, especially at his age, 29. In game, that can be a tough one. 30 years or so, that's when you start to see a lot of big fall off in terms of ratings and actual performances. So I feel like I cannot afford to keep him. And just to give you an idea of what it would take to keep him, Bryant, roughly 30 million, high 20s. And then Baez, I think Baez is even more. He averaged 28 million over 9 years. So I'm probably going to be trading these guys around the trading deadline, if not before. But I want to go through this first month and see how well they play. And then I think that, if nothing else, that might give me a little bit of notion of who's going to be more valuable. I know that's probably a risky prospect too, because these guys get injured. I know I'm going to trade them, but I just want to start out. I mean, if we're looking lights out, I wouldn't, I would try to make the playoffs with them. So that's why I'm keeping them for at least the first month or so of the season. One thing that we also looked at last episode, which is kind of strange to me, preseason predictions. I've said several times in my playthroughs, I know these don't mean everything, but I think it's very interesting that they had us with 84 wins and second in the Central with the preseason prediction. So maybe the bullpen is going to help out more than I think. Maybe that's going to make a bigger difference. Rizzo, another guy, we missed him for maybe half the season last year. So if some of these guys were to play a little bit closer to where their ratings are, and I'm talking, of course, about Bryant for the most part, then it's possible we could compete for the Central, but I'm not really expecting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and we're simming probably game at a time. We're going to start out at home against Cincinnati, so that's a good, pretty good opening day matchup. And let's just see how we start. First game, big win, 7-3. I'm okay with that. Hap, a good game, 2 for 4, drove in 3. Baez looks like he may have had a home run. Hap had a home run. He was the one with the home run in the game. Darvish, a pretty good start for him, 7 innings, just 3 earned runs. And we got a break there. And then game 2, 4-3 in extra innings. Rizzo, 2 for 4, drove in a couple. Hayward, 2 for 4. Hayward is another one that's thorn in my side. That contract for Hayward is really high. I had some good suggestions from a viewer on my channel on what to do with Hayward. Maybe bundle him with prospects, that kind of thing. No team would take him on. I mean, I worked on it to the point where I just stopped getting fun. I just said, I'm ready to move on. I'm just going to stick with him. It's possible if I find a replacement for him, a young enough prospect who's maybe ready to go in the majors already, I could waive him. I've had to do that many times. I'm sure you have too, in playing out of the park baseball. So if it happens, it happens. So we've won the first 2. Can we sweep Cincinnati? And we do, 8-5. So got a lot of good offense this series. Rizzo, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Baez may have been injured here, but just a minimal injury. Caratini, he's off to a good start. And pitching-wise, Rodriguez, great game from him as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, he gave up 4 runs, but gave me 8 innings, 7 Ks. Kimbrel picks up his second save. Take a look at the weekly news. I don't know if they do the players of the week in the first week or not, but so we got Marcell Ozuna. Was he still out there? He signed with Texas. That's a pretty good pickup. He's coming off a good season in Atlanta. I'm not sure why he was still out there, but this is what I'm talking about too. I mean, if I were able to get a guy like Marcell Ozuna for under $5 million at right, he's currently just rated at left field, I wouldn't feel too bad about eating that contract and letting Hayward go. So we're third in team power rankings. Doesn't mean anything yet. So let's go ahead. We're going to be at Boston. Lose that first one 3-5. No surprise there. Rizzo, though, 2 for 4. He's off to a great start. Horner may have had a home run here. Drove in 3. Abbott. This is where the problem starts. So it's lucky for us that we won those first 3 games of the year, because now we get to that 4th spot in the rotation. It's a 2-star pitcher who probably shouldn't be there, in all honesty. He should probably be back in AAA, but I'm hoping that he develops a little bit, is what, why I've got him out there. So game 2 against Boston, 7-1. No real bright spots offensively, and again, Alzolay, same deal. Here's a guy with great ratings on his individual pitches and curveball, fastball, changeup. I'm just hoping he develops. He hasn't really blown me away in the 2 call-ups in these last 2 seasons I've seen from him, but got to do something, I'm probably not going to pick it up in free agency right now, a starting pitcher, but 3rd game, can we salvage a win here against Boston? And we do, 4-1 on the road. That's a good way to end it. Amaya, big game here, 2 for 4, drove in all 4 runs. Darvish, 7 shutout innings, so he's off to a great start. That would be a good sign if he has that kind of a season. Ohtani, 3 home runs. Wow. So let's look at the player development update. We got Brad Wick, who is, I think, he is on this team. 29 years old. He's been around. Another lefty reliever. I like his stuff against lefties, but man, I don't know. He may not be. Depends on how he does. If he starts doing like he did last year, he may be someone I have to replace. And this kind of stinks to see. Garrett Richards, 3.5 stars. He saw some improvements in some of his ratings. Brendan Davis, biggest, as hard as it may be to believe, the biggest prospect probably we have offensively. He's picked up some individual ratings there, it looks like. He's going to be at AA this year. And then Nestor Heredia. Not much going on. This, unfortunately, with this team, as well as having a lot of high-priced veterans on the team, they don't really have that deep of a minor league farm system in out of the bar baseball. So we got Pittsburgh coming up next, but John Lester, who went to Toronto this year, he's going to be injured for 6 months, so looks like he's going to be out most of the season. And I don't think he got to his 200 wins. He didn't, so he's too shy. He may not make it. He may not get those 2 wins. So on the road against Pittsburgh, we're 4-2. Lose the first one 3-4. Bryant, 2 for 4 in this game, but he's 238, hitting 238 so far this season. Pretty good game from Hendricks, but Kelly unfortunately gave up a run in the. Man, he's off to a rough start too, but he gave up a run to lose it late. Then game 2, we win in extra innings 3-2. How about Amora? 4 for 5, 3 runs. And Rizzo, 1 for 2, but 3 walks. I like to see that. And Bryant, 2 for 5. Rodriguez, another good outing from him. Didn't get the decision though, and the rubber game is rained out. So we're 5-3 through that first couple weeks here. Players of the week now, Joe Adell for the Angels. This is a good, really good looking young guy in the American League. His rating progression here in Out of the Park Baseball has just gone through the roof, really. OSA thinks he's a 4-star player already. He's just 21 years old. Best player in the National League, Nick Senzel. I know the last year's version of Out of the Park Baseball. I guess that was 20, right? Senzel, the few playthroughs I had, he was always a good player, always had a good career. So we slipped down to 10th in the power rankings, but that's no big deal. I don't expect us to hold on to that. Taking a look at who's on the waiver wire. Pitching-wise, Trevor Cahill. Man, is he worth starting? He's another one. I mean, he's 33 years old. He's not going to be a long-term investment. He does have some good individual numbers, though. I don't know. I think I'm just going to gamble with what I have for now. So we're going to be at home against Milwaukee. First game, nice win there, 5-2. Almora 2 for 4 in this one, and then Hayward actually not off to a bad start, hitting 280, 2 home runs, not getting a lot of RBI opportunities, batting that low in the order, but Abbott 6 2/3 strong innings here, 2 runs, 6 Ks. Kimbrel his 4th save. Kimbrel's another one. If we're not looking like we're going to be in the playoff mix around the trading deadline, I may see what I can get for Kimbrel as well. Game 2 against Milwaukee, 3-2. Ian Happ 2 for 4 in this one. He's off to a pretty slow start though. Rizzo 0 for 4. His average is back down pretty low. Darvish did not get the win, but 6 2/3, just 2 runs and 10 Ks. Kimbrel 5 saves on pace for 81. That's probably not going to see that. But Darvish off to a good start, looking better than he did last year. So now we're going to be. Is this going to be the Mets? Let me see. Joey Votto hits his 300th home run. It is the Mets. They're off to a hot start, 8-4. This could be a tough series, 4 games. Game 1, we win in extra innings 5-3. Chris Bryant drove in a couple, but that averaged 216. Same with Baez. He's hitting 229. Horner, good game, 3 for 4. Hendricks, solid game, just did not get the decision. 3 starts. This guy's looked pretty good, but 3.60 ERA, no wins, no decisions right now. And FIP is at 4.05. That's not too bad. I mean, that's probably a little bit above where you want your starters, your main starters to be anyway. It's a game 2 against New York. Big win, 12-1. Rizzo, a good game. Baez, three hits for both of them. And then Amaya, 2 for 3, drove in 4. He's just 22, and he's a good defensive catcher. If his offense develops, he may be taking over that starting job at catcher sooner than I'm thinking. I don't know if it was last offseason, I kept getting trade offers for him. So it's obvious that the AI rates him pretty highly as well. So he's got a good future. It's a great game from him. And then Rodriguez, looking really good. 2 wins so far in his 3 starts. I'm curious to see what. Yeah, he's up there. I mean, we're talking just under $20 million for. I may, though, we'll revisit this as the season goes on. I still think, he might be worth a 3 or 4 year investment, in all honesty, even if it takes you close to 20, because I'm going to have Darvish and Hendricks moving off at least in 3 years anyway. But we'll just have to see. So we've won 2 the first 2 games in this 4-game series. Lose a close one, 2-1. man, Perez is really struggling. This is a two-star guy who I'm starting a lot right now, and I may have to really rethink that because um, I think he's better off the bench. He looked great off the bench last year, and I think that's where he needs to be. Pitching wise, Alzolay, solid game, but bullpen had some trouble. Well, they may have had bad fielding here, but bullpen blew it for us. So game 4, oh great, 1-0 shutout. So our pitching, I'm going to take a look at the team stats here after this game, but man, our pitching has been really good. Caratini drove in the only run in the game. Horner was 2 for 3. He must like batting down there lower in the order. He's off to a 342 batting average start, so that's pretty good from him. Abbott, complete game shutout. Okay, now that's good to see. And this guy's just 25. If I would love for somebody like him to just start taking off and just keep developing and turn into maybe a mid-rotation type starter. That would be awesome. So let's look at the weekly news. Mike Yastrzemski looks like he's going to, after last season, he started in this playthrough. He started most of the year last year in right field at San Francisco. He's their starter again this year. There's Abbott's shutout. So Sano, player of the week in the American League. Freddie Freeman in the National League. This guy's another one who always has a good playthrough in out of the park baseball, it seems like. And we are third in the power rankings, and we're off to 10-4 start. We're leading in the Central by 2.5 over St. Louis and Pittsburgh. I'm going to take a look at the waiver wire. Although at this point, it's going to be hard for me with that start record-wise to have a chance at some of these guys. But I want to take a look at how we're doing on pitching. I think we're first in a lot of categories. That's crazy. I mean, that's the weakness. That was what I thought was going to be the weakness anyway coming in. We're top 5 in a lot of offensive categories. Defensive efficiency, that's really key for this team with the kind of pitching staff we have. So that's good to see. It's pretty high. So the big thing is I don't think I can afford to have Perez going starting. I mean, what is this? Oh, basic batting stats. Now it's against righties that he's having trouble, and for whatever reason he's getting more. So against righties for some reason he's getting more look, and I think it's because I've got him going for Bryant quite a bit. I think I need to just put him as when Bryant's tired. And let's see if that makes any kind of difference. Because right now he's starting in right field against left-handed batters. Ortega, it might be that he's the better choice to back up in left and right. Brock Holt, though, I do want to get him. He was the only offensive guy I signed in the offseason as a free agent. I like the fact that he plays a lot of different positions, has got good ratings, especially against righties. So I wanted to give him a lot of play time in several different positions. So I'm going to keep it this way for now, and let's see what happens. Almora's cold, though, right now, too. He after a good first series, he's just hitting 220. So we're going to be playing Arizona at home. They are 9-7, and we lose that first one pretty big, 6-1. Ian Happ, a couple hits in this one. Not much offensively going on, and Darvish, his worst outing of the year, 4 innings, 5 runs. Then game 2, another 8-1. Offense is stalling pretty bad right now. Just 4 hits in the game, 1 run. Hendricks really hammered, 2 innings, 7 runs. Bumgarner for Arizona, though, he's off to a pretty decent start. So game 3, can we salvage it? We don't. Ooh, 6-0. That was a terrible series. 4 hits, no runs. And Rodriguez, his worst outing of the year, 5 1/3, 6 earned runs. So hopefully that's just a blip. That was not a good series. We got Franmil Reyes with a 25 game hitting streak ended by Kansas City. So now we're going to be playing Tampa Bay. They're 15-4. We're playing them on the road. This is not going to be good. We lose first game 3-5. So we're 10-8 now. We've lost 4 in a row. Rizzo, pretty good game, and his numbers look good. This guy's a 373 on base percentage, an OPS of 945. So he's having a good year. Not so much though with Baez and Bryant. And pitching wise, Alzolay 5 runs and 4 1/3. Bullpen though looking pretty good. I think the bullpen's still been looking pretty good. Now the starters though are starting to really struggle. Game 2, 3-1. Bryant, Baez, a couple hits for them. Caratini, a couple hits. Abbott, 6 innings, 3 runs. Not bad. We just didn't have the offense. And we were going against Blake Snell. That may have had something to do with that. Game 3, 1-0. Gosh, what a week. Just 3 hits, no runs. Ortega's really struggling too. These guys I don't think are good enough to get too much play time. And unfortunately, Darvish, well, he didn't look too bad. 8 innings, just 1 run. But man, what happened to our offense this week? So who were the Lindor, 3 home runs, but who were the players of the week? So we got Trey Mancini, and then we got Brendan Rodgers at Colorado, and then power rankings, we got to be, I would think, at 19th. So that's probably where we're going to struggle to settle in. I mean, 10-10, we've lost 6 in a row. So that took away that great start. And offensively, man, what a week that was. We're going to be at Cincinnati versus Colorado. See if we can get back on track. Game 1, 4-8. Baez, three runs in this one, maybe a three-run homer. Looks like Bryant got his 4th home run. Hendricks, another bad outing. 6 innings, 4 2/3. And I think I did. Oh man, I think I did hire Adair in the offseason, and that's one thing I'm noticing too. It's like you hire these guys at a certain reputation, and as soon as the season starts, they automatically take a dip. So he's now like fair when I think before he was average. And there's several things I've noticed that are different with this version. One, the draft in that Philly playthrough that I'm doing on outside of this one. I just went through a draft where the top players were 2.5 and 3. I think there were maybe 3, a handful of 3-star potential players in that draft. And that's what I'm noticing. And I'm also noticing personnel. It's, you're not finding too many coaches that are rated good or better. We'll just take a look at it just to see if that's the case here. But every time I've looked at coaches, there's a manager here that's great, scouts, doctors, whatever, but to find all coaches, let's see, hitting coach, pitching coach, average is the best you're going to see. Hitting coach, average is the best you're going to see. It's making it definitely more challenging, but I thought I made an improvement in the pitching coach this offseason, but apparently not. So, man, we're struggling. All right, so game 2, we're up against Tyler Mahle, who's going to be really tough, I think, to beat. And we beat him 5-2. We needed that one. That's, a 6-game losing streak, 7 games. Rizzo, a good game here. Horner, a couple hits. And then Rodriguez back on track, 6 strong innings from him. Kimbrel his 6th save, and now game 3 against Cincinnati. Whew, tough one, 5-6 in 10 innings. Horner, Bryant, a couple hits in the game. Perez, he's starting to hit a little bit better. Amaya, once again, 3 for 5. I've got him starting like every 5 games against lefties, every 6 games against righties. If he keeps developing, he could possibly win that starting role. We'll just have to see. Now going up against Colorado at home. Brock Hope, he must be mad. He's wanting to be a starting player, and that was one of the gambles I took with him. I felt like he might possibly not like that backup role, and that would be a problem. So Colorado's 11-14. We're 11-12. It might be that might be a good matchup for us. Let's look and see. Man, I'm not too disappointed in what I'm seeing from Hayward starting out. I got to be honest. So I think I'm going to have to keep him starting a little bit. Just noticed I had Perez starting there for Hap. Hap struggling early. Offensively, honestly, the biggest player maybe Amaya off the bench, and then Horner's looking pretty good. Rizzo is looking good as well. He's off to average has slipped a little bit, but I would take those numbers from him at this point. All right, so let's get up. First game against Colorado, we win 2-1. Pitching duel. Baez, Bryant, each home runs for them in this game, and that was their offense. Hayward was 2 for 3 though, not bad. And another good outing from Abbott. So he's 3-2 on pace for 20 wins. That's surprising. So game 2, Colorado 6-5, another close one-run game. We've won a lot of those this year, it seems like. Caratini, Hayward, good offensive games. Darvish, not a good start for him, but bullpen was strong. I think our bullpen's still doing really well. Let me see. Yeah, bullpen ERA is first by, I would think, a long shot, 129. So we're doing pretty good. Pitching wise, offensively, we're worse than I thought we would be. And that injury to Rasmussen, I'm going to put him on a rehab assignment, and I really think, our hope anyway, that this guy is going to look pretty good this year. I kind of bet, I was betting on him being a big part of the bullpen eventually anyway. So can we sweep Colorado? That'd be great. Get us back 2 games above 500, and we do 3-2 in extra innings. Hap, a good game here. Baez and Perez, two hits apiece for them. Hendricks, a good outing, couldn't get the decision though, and that puts us back winning in anyway. And players of the week, let me see what we got here. Wilson Contreras, who we traded, he's already got 8 home runs. Wow, he is having a monster start. On pace for 46 home runs, 156 RBIs. I did not expect to see that. And then players of the week, Guerrero Jr., no surprise. He also does well, thinking out of the park baseball. Acuna Jr. off to a great start. And power rankings, we're back up to 12th. And I'm going to take a look at waiver wire. A few decent relievers, but it might be I might be at the point where I'm going to have to start looking at what I can do offensively, because we're struggling, especially Miller and Ortega. Those guys are well. Miller's not getting a whole lot of play time, and Ortega's just looked terrible when he's played. All right, so I'm almost to the end of the month. I'm gonna get through this week, home against Atlanta, on the road against Miami, and see how we finish it up. So game 1, 3-0 shutout. Almora 2 for 4. He's been really cold so far. Rodriguez, a 9-inning shutout. He's off to a great start, and it's the better he does, the harder it gets to sign him. Excuse me. So he's now edged up above $20 million in his ask on the contract. So decisions on that one. I'm going to have to probably either take a gamble and just pull the trigger early, or just let him go as a free agent this year. All right, so game 2, 5-6. That's a tough one. Horner, a couple hits. He's looked pretty good. Baez, 3 for 4. Bryant, again, this is what I think I'm up against with Bryant. I think I need to trade him as soon as I can, because even in OSA he's down to a 3-star player. So let me get through this month, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Alzolay, though, pretty decent outing from him, but he's looked really bad so far this year. And then we lose 6-9 in that last game. Almora, another good game from him, but I don't know. I didn't see too much from too many other people. Abbott was hammered, so good start, bad start from him. Looks to be the way it's going. And now we're going to be playing at Miami. We're at one game above 500, so it'd be nice to end on a winning note here. Let's see. They are 10-20, so they're struggling. Game 1, we win 5-3. That's nice. And 14 innings, but that's okay. 3 for 7 from Almora. Rizzo drove in 3. His average is struggling again. Bryant, Caratini, a couple hits, and Darvish 8 strong innings. Just couldn't get the decision. Bullpen again, man. Look at the numbers on that bullpen. They're all looking good. So I'm going to get through the series, and then we'll look at the monthly awards. Game 2, 3-12. Not good. Almora again. He had a good game again. Rizzo 2 for 4, drove in 3, and that was it. And Happ. I mean, I'm really banking on him to be one of my better offensive players, and he is struggling heavily. Hendricks struggling heavily. Another bad outing from him. If you look at his pitching log, it's not been good. I mean, really not good at all. Started out Cincinnati. His first start of the year was good. Second start, not too bad. Fourth start, but yeah, he's had 3 starts here where he has been completely hammered. And Wick not looking too good in the bullpen either. So game 3 against Miami, can we at least win the series? We lose it. So that puts us back at 500. Almora, a good week for him. He's back hitting above 250, but Baez, a good game here, but man, offense is Rodriguez struggling. We're just all up and down the line. We're having trouble. Let me take a look. So we got our player development update. Right off the bat, Seth Elledge, that's going to be a big blow. He's lost some stuff. I don't know. He's still a good option. He's having a good year. I mean, he's not too terrible, but Rizzo, his current and potential power rankings went up, so that's not too bad. Ortega, he gained a little bit in the contact, but overall he's gone down. Ian Happ, his player rating overall did drop in potential. Wyatt Short, this guy's currently at Iowa. He's starting to develop a little bit. He may be a September call-up for me. Riley Thompson in Tennessee Smokies. His ratings have gone pretty good, but his numbers are not. Adaman here. At one point, I think he was one of my bigger prospects. I don't know, seeing some positive development lower in the system, but nothing in the majors. Kenley Jansen, he's going to be gone for the year. He's no longer their closer, it looks like. Batters of the month, Joey Gallo in the American League. That surprised Acuna Jr. in the National League, off to a great start. Starters, it's Kobe Allard. He's just 2.5 star rated, but he's having a good start for Texas. Closer for Cincinnati, looking pretty good. And rookies, for what it's worth, Corey Abbott, Rookie of the Month in the National League, but he's still just at 2 stars, so he didn't pick up any rating progression that month. And Jeff McNeil, Player of the Week, and we are 15th, dead even in the power rankings. So you look at the standings, it's St. Louis, Chicago, Milwaukee. We're all kind of jumbled together there. We're just 1.5 games back. So we're still in a position where we could compete for the Central. You got Philadelphia and Atlanta doing really well there in the East. Dodgers, no surprise, they're leading in the West. Individually, Acuna looking good. Bellinger, man, this guy, he is rated so highly in this version of Out of the Park baseball that the Phillies playthrough, he's putting up numbers I've never seen. This season, I think the last season that I'm playing through now with him on that playthrough, he's on pace for like I think 200 plus RBIs, and we're at the All-Star break. It's amazing numbers. He's not playing up to that level in this playthrough, but he's still going to be a good player. We have 0 players showing up in any of the leaderboards, and then in the American League, Tampa Bay 26-9, looking good. Cleveland, Houston looking good, but the Angels not far behind them. Mike Trout, he's having a good start in this playthrough, putting up monster type numbers really from him. I mean, 189 walk pace, 13 wins above replacement pace. He's probably, he's leading in batter WAR, but not by much. I mean, Lindor, he's on pace for 11, so that's pretty good. But we're in a tough spot, as I knew we would be, and I think it's time for me to see what I can get. I'll probably start with Bryant, move on to Baez, and see if we can't get some prospects, because we are now at the point where it's now or never, especially with Bryant. I mean, his numbers are not going to get any better. My scout now has him at 3 stars. So my dilemma is I think I've waited too long, and I'll end this episode let's just see what shopping him around would get me. I have a feeling that it's going to be because I've kept everybody here. I have a feeling it's going to be some high-priced veterans is what I'm going to be offered. Yeah, no prospects to speak of. It's kind of amazing to me, and then I mean the fact that you've got a guy at this level. So this is 2021. We're talking like 2019. Guy's still considered, a franchise type player, and 2 years later, you're going to be lucky if you can even trade him away. That's how quick it can happen. So now I'm really mad at myself for not doing this last offseason. But I'll work with it. That's what I'll probably do offline. And I'll go up through the draft, and I'll come back after the draft and see if we still got some life in us this year. But you're going to see a different Cubs team when I come back. I'm almost positive. But as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate the support, the subscribes, the likes, comments, and hopefully you'll stick with me on this one until I can turn this team around. hopefully I can turn it around. I may run out of time though. I am set. I'm not in commission mode, so I can be fired. So that might be the result of this one. It's not looking good. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode.